Oh, this was fun. I enjoyed this for the most part. Thought it was pretty enjoyable. Glad to finally see what the game behind the costume is. I think I saw his costume. It's in Soul Hackers 2. I think that was the first time I saw it was in Soul Hackers 2. And then I think I later got the DLC for Persona 5, and I think it's in that game as well. I could be wrong. But never knew anything about the game, so I'm not even sure if I knew it was like a PlayStation 2 game. I'm not sure. But like what the game was beyond the costume from the other games and see what it was about. Nice to play a PlayStation 2 Atlas game, as outside of Persona 3 FES, I hadn't really got the ability or had the chance at the time to play them, really. So it's nice to kind of see what other PS2 games they had that weren't Persona. And SMT, I have to say, wasn't what I expected it to be at all, really. I thought it would be a turn-based game, as I know them for, so I was pretty surprised that it wasn't a turn-based game. In fact, I think outside of Catherine, this is the first game I played from them that wasn't like Persona 5 Strikers, which was co-created with Omega Force, who makes the Dynasty Warriors games. So that was pretty shocking. I think if I had to say anything bad about the game, I do think, I'm not going to go in the menu because it'll spoil demons and stuff, but eventually, like, I didn't really feel like making much variety for demons. I don't really feel like the game encourages you to either, as you really want to have like all the weaknesses, really. I feel like going into fights, so you want to have like all the elemental weaknesses. You very rarely run into enemies that are weak to physical, just like their other games. So, and unless you want to constantly like switch them out mid-battle, which slows down the fights, which I would say more, it feels more invasive switching out your demons because it's such a slow process that I kind of just wanted to have them all just have everything. And so I basically just applied the same strategy to every demon in the game, which after playing SMT5, I would say is pretty unfortunate, but at the same time, that's kind of unfair because SMT5 came out in 2021, where this came out, I believe, in 2006. So it's separated by 15 years. So it's kind of unfair. They've had a lot of time to come up with different styles of games since then. It is what it is. I didn't really apply any different strategy to anybody. I don't really think the recruit mechanic in the game is worth using, as you need to spend your MP to even use it in the first place, and you might not even have it. So then you have to play the game of, well, am I going to kill the monster before I can confine him? Sometimes you might be. Most of the time, probably not, but even if you do get that monster confined, it's really only good in the beginning of the game, because if you get it like later in the game, they're not going to have that many. They're only going to have moves that they would normally have, which makes them just less effective as a demon. So to me, it always just seemed better to just make them yourself. That way they can have everything. And oftentimes the fights went the slowest when I confined the two demons late in the game. Those fights were noticeably more slow than when I would just make them myself. So I didn't really feel like the whole recruit thing in this game, honestly, I feel like if you remove it, I don't feel like you're missing anything. So I don't think that's too good of a mechanic, and I feel like it hampers when you even use it, outside of just using it like the first 5 hours of the game. Other than that, I'd say that's probably about it. I mean, my hand was starting to cramp during some of the fights in the training hall, like the 100 demon fights. It could be me issue, but it's just so much mashing of the square button that my hand actually started to hurt after a while, which I was just like, okay, I get to go around and talk to people. Nice. This is great. And then when another case file that brought me right back there, and I'm like, all right, it's been a couple hours, and I would do it again. And I'm like, damn, my hand is hurting again. It's definitely a lot of mashing in this game for the gameplay. I don't really experience that much. Not really, but this game brought that out of my hand. It was like I had to switch my finger after a while. Started using my thumb. It could be a me issue, but I mean, bring it up. But I mean, other than that, I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I thought it was pretty fun game. They got a sequel. It has a sequel, so I hope that maybe they'll release the sequel someday, or remaster the sequel someday, but obviously that depends on whether this does well or not. They also got Digital Devil Saga on the PS2 as well. I believe 2 games like that, so it makes me wonder if this does do well, will they bring those games to modern times as well? Because I mean, if you don't have a PS2, your only options is either emulate it or go get a PS2. So I wonder if they'll bring those too, because to my understanding, SMT, Persona, this, and Digital Devil Saga are like their main games they released on the PS2, and they released this one. They remastered Persona 3. They didn't release the original, but at least they did for portable. I still would like to see them just do a straight up just re-release of Persona 3 Fest. Like, I imagine you probably made the most money you're gonna make from Reloaded. I think it's been like 2 years, I think. A year or two. Yeah, no, I think it's been 2 years. So you probably... No, I think it came out last year, but you've probably already made the most money you're going to make off of it. So anything now, I don't really feel like releasing Fest would be a bad idea. That way you have Golden, the original Golden, and then you'll have, like, that's going to be getting remade. So you'll have the original version that some people say is the best one, and then you'll have the remake that's coming out. So it would be nice to be able to have portable Fest and the remake all available on modern systems and PC. I think that'd be great. And then the sequel to this and Digital Devil Saga would be pretty cool. And I think they already did SMT 3, which was the other game on that console that came out a while ago. I think that came out before Persona 3 Golden did, or Persona 4 Golden did. So, but I mean, it was pretty fun. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. A lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, but Atlas games have, outside of Catherine, have pretty much conditioned me that they would all be long. So I was kind of surprised that it was going fast, but at the same time, I say that, but then I'm kind of not surprised, because games like this kind of have to be on the shorter side, because then you run into the, okay, this is boring now, faster. So it kind of makes sense why it's on the shorter side compared to the other games, but it was good. Oh, I guess lastly, I said I was going to show the demons, but I did actually appreciate that it has demons in this that I've never seen before. Having played Persona 3, Persona 5, Persona 4, 3 Remake, SMT 5, it's actually kind of cool to still play their games and see demons that I've never seen before. This one did have a lot of demons that did seem like they were just pattern swaps though with other ones. Like there's like, I think like 2 or 3 different dogs in this one that share the same exact animations as Byakko or the Chinese tiger. I don't know how I feel about that. And then same with like Cert as well. Cert has like 2 enemies in this game that share the exact same animations as he does and mannerisms. So while it was pretty cool, it was also kind of like, yeah, you're a new demon, and kind of just name and only, really. But it's still cool. There was some brand new ones I've never seen before, so that was also pretty neat too.